We're walking across Sakaramon Gate at Himeji Castle in Hyogo Prefecture, about an hour south of Osaka, Japan. And interestingly, this bridge and the gate itself, they were enlarged for the Japanese military in the 1930s, but we're going to tell you about Himeji Castle and its storied history in this video. Now, the gate that we're walking under here, again, is kind of like an old reconstruction, but if you go back to like the early 1600s when Himeji Castle was really created, the version we see today, would have been much smaller, and there were gates that were a little bit more imposing and that kind of thing. But as we walk through the gate here, I'll tell you that the history here goes back to about 1333, much earlier than the version of Himeji-jo or Himeji Castle that you see today, when it was called Himeyama, Hime Mountain, Mount Hime, which gives the name, of course, Himeji-jo. And you can see the castle now. We're going to tell you more about it as we go through. It looks like it has 5 stories, but it actually has 7. There are a couple that are hidden, which is common in Japanese castle construction, at least from the 15 to 1600s. So we'll tell you more about the castle as we go inside. Okay, we're about to walk through Hishi Gate, or Hishimon, I think it might be called. An English chestnut gate, apparently because of its design, but I don't see it. But this gate was the main gate to Himeji Castle, and really was only for dignitaries and the lord of the castle and their aides and that kind of thing. So people like me would not have been allowed to walk through here 400 years ago. And as we walk up to the main castle keep, have a look here at the stones, right? The stone walls. These are called ishigaki, and they're designed to have these big stones compacted by little stones, and it makes the a castle a lot stronger. And then you see the white at the top. That was all made from like wood and plaster and that kind of thing. And Himeji-jo is really an original castle if you go back to when it was first constructed in 1601, at least in this design. It was used as a fort back even in 1333. I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Okay, now have a look at these defensive walls here, right? You've got these little windows, and as I walk by, if you notice, now these ones are all square, but you'll see that they're all different levels, right? And that's because some people might be standing, some people might be lying on their belly, and some people might be kneeling. And as we get to these ones here, you notice this one's a square. That would have been somebody with a gun, like a musket or something like that. Circular ones, I'm still not 100% sure, but probably somebody with an arrow or a bow. And the triangular ones were definitely for the archers to shoot arrows at people that might be trying to invade the castle. So these were very deliberate in the design and in the shape, but as with any Japanese aesthetic, it's also intended to have some kind of beauty to it, right? So, yeah, have a look at even the levels here, right? If I step back a little bit and I walk along, you can see that some are a little bit higher or lower than the others. That's kind of cool, and again, very, very deliberate. All right, we're about to enter one of the gates that's closer to the main keep or the main tower, which we consider Himeji Castle. And you can kind of see if you scroll around there in the back. And note again here, we've got the plastered walls on top of the stone foundations, different heights, different styles, whether it's a gunner or an archer, or you're lying flat on your back, kneeling, or standing up. And there were gates actually that were so narrow that only 2 people could really go through at a time, and that was designed to create like a bottleneck so that if there was an attacker, it would be really hard for a whole pile of thousands of attackers to go through the gate at the same time. So again, the design was very, very deliberate. All right, that was Ninomon, and we're getting closer to the actual main keep in the castle. Way cool. I love this place. as we walk through here, you can see that not a lot of people could get through easily at the same time. Now note the doors. They also had these double doors where they close for extra security. Now, this looks like one, but they did have double doors to keep attackers moving a lot more slowly. We'll keep walking through the gates here. And again, all the walls had these defensive windows to shoot arrows and bullets, I should say, at attackers. This design actually goes back to like the late 1400s. Himeji Castle is known for its excellent representation of castle design at the time. And again, Himeji is the best preserved castle in Japan, and it's one of the top 3. So if you can get here, you should. Mizumimon, maybe? My reading of Japanese has declined in the last 15 years. You can see the zigzag kind of structure of gates and things like that. It's all deliberate in terms of trying to slow down an attacker. The interesting thing is Himeji has actually never been attacked, at least not since 1601, when the castle was designed with its current design. There was a fort here back in 1333 at the end of the Kamakura military government period, when chaos started opening up in Japan again. Keep in mind this stuff, yeah, it's been restored, but most of it's original. Stonework, a lot of the woodwork. Fantastic.